I guess the other thing that you could do with Rogue, I mean, this is really not in the spirit of the Brawl, but this is Rogue, so that's their jam, is not doing things in the spirit of they were intended. But like, you could pick any other class as your primary, put like 2 cards in there, and then just run Treasure Hunter Eudora, and then everything triggers it, right? And then you just speed run the Eudora side quest.
Welcome to episode 509 of Concede, our Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Wednesday, August 6th, 2025, in the evening. Coming to you from Nomergon, Ohio, it's me, Edelweiss. From North Rand, Massachusetts, we have Wicked Good.
Hi.
From Teldrassil, California, we have Megesa.
Hello.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Kresh, Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottlecaps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, SSJ5 Goku, NY Kiwi, Spine, and our newest producer, Probiwan. And by our patrons of the week, Absacold and Forgiven One. You can go to patreon.com/CoinConcede to get perks like thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, one-on-one coaching sessions, and help support the show in the process. If you would like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice, as it always helps other people find the show. So, Life and Ladder. Not a lot of... Well, that's not true. I have been playing some Ladder because I'm not... I haven't hit Legend yet and stuff, and so I can kind of mess around. Also, my wires got crossed or something. It did not register that the event stuff had like an actual new card, just because that's not a thing they've really done except like around launches.
It is unusual. Well, I guess they are doing that more because they did that with like Blob of Tar and
sure
the Raptor with the Dark Gifts and stuff like that. So I guess they've been doing that more, but they're normally neutrals. Right. I think it's different that it's a class card and a legendary at that.
Yeah, they did it with like Champions of Azeroth.
Yeah, this strikes me as unusual because it is for a single class and a legendary, and not seemingly corresponding to like, mini set or expansion launch type. But anyway, it's a good card. Yeah, I'm playing it in Blood Decay because it destroys all minions, and that's a nice thing. For those who may not recall, 3-mana, 1/6 weapon, Deathrattle, destroy all minions, which obviously is like a long-term investment, and if you don't pick it up early, it is less good. But just having another thing besides Ceaseless that you can use to 0 mana, clear the board, and then develop whatever you're going to develop is good.
So are you running other weapons or just kind of waiting as an investment into a later turn?
Initially, I was running other weapons, and then I was just like, like, it's... You play with it differently, right? Like, you can surprise people if you run other weapons, but if you just trust, like, hey, I have Corpse Explosion and Poison Pyro, I'm going to rely on those generally, but I will have this in my back pocket for later. Like, it's still good. I think I replaced Hematurge. Oh no. Like...
I mean, that's not a big loss, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm playing a very no greed control Death Knight, like, because you can just do that and then run Kill Jaden, which we've talked about. I know you hate it, but it's like turbo draw, Blood Decay. Elise is really good. Elise adds an extra element that I think is quite unique and interesting to figure out, like, what level location to do in different matchups and what to pick. It just runs Wisp to help meet that requirement instead of like trying to fit in something like Shaladrasil. And being able to like sometimes summon a 10/10 copy of your hero power and give all your characters +4 attack. That's how I beat a Protoss mage one time.
I just double checked that I didn't run into you because I ran into that deck as a Protoss mage earlier today and got destroyed. Left on like turn 5 because I saw the writing on the wall and I just wasn't gonna bother. But no, it wasn't you.
It is definitely a more interesting card in a context like that than in, say, Alonius Druid, where there is no thought process. They just pick one and they try to roll copy a minion so that they can get an extra Alonius. And if they don't, then they're sad, but it doesn't really matter. And, you know, which I might be salty because I lost to that today. May or may not be. You'll never know.
I said copy a minion was going to be like the strongest thing on there.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I do like Elise. I haven't been running it in any of the decks I've been playing because I've just been playing Protoss Priest. I probably can take out the Shadow Word Ruin now because I was running that before the patch launched. And you needed that before the patch to be able to deal with the hand buff hunters and with the cycle rogues, and you know, being able to have 2 copies of Thrive in the Shadows to find it was necessary. I probably can tweak the list now because I haven't really seen any of those. I haven't seen the hand buff hunter despite the fact that it wasn't really touched. But
it is still good, and it is still decently popular, but not as popular. Yeah. But it is still good.
Yeah. But I have been running into a fair number of quest mages, and I acknowledge that the deck is not good, but it seems to be good against the deck that I am running specifically because my deck is slow enough to give it time to finish, and then it becomes Burgle Rogue 2.0, except that it tends to discover things that you can throw at your opponent's face if you give it enough discovers. So, yeah. I would very much like for that to go away. I'm slightly annoyed that they buffed it, but I understand why, but also, and I was saying this before the show, it feels like it is difficult to print the kinds of decks that you want people to be able to play because they enjoy them, but that are terrible if they become competitively viable, which has been basically every casino mage in history. Has been a bad thing when it becomes something that is playable at a Masters Tour level. So I mean, I don't think we're here yet with this deck. I don't think it is.
It's 45.5% over the past day on HS Replay.
There are lists that are above 50% on Donkey's site for Diamond to Legend.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always lists that are above.
Yeah,
but
with a decent number of games
as a whole.
Yeah, with a decent number of games. So it's like I acknowledge that I am playing a deck that is bad into it, and some of them may just be high rolling, and that's fine. Like once you start combining it with Sleet Skater, that's when I start getting, it's like, okay, can we not? Like the spell ones are one thing. Once you have like I just got Sleet Skatered into Oblivion because they just Sleet Skatered my mothership 4 turns in a row. And I did that to myself, to be fair. but I also would very much like for them not to do that. So please don't. But yeah, I mean, I've been climbing with the Protoss Priest, pretty much beating most of what else is out there. And there's a fair number of people that have been trying things like, you know, like going back to the Quest Warrior or trying to play Death Knight, and I can generally beat those. So it's been fine. It's a priest deck that I can play. I did hear tell of a new Aviana Priest, but I haven't seen a list yet. And I've been a little bit too tired after work today to try it, but I may try that tomorrow if I can find an appropriate list, because I do enjoy a good Aviana Druid, a good Aviana Priest, not Aviana Druid, Aviana Priest. I'm not a monster. Well, I am a monster, but a different kind of monster.
There's a good quest priest in Wild. Renethal quest priest.
Oh, stop it! No, you said Ren. I was with you until you said Renethal, and then I'm out again. So
well, it doesn't matter. There's so many cheap holy and shadow spells right in Wild that you can actually complete the quest, and then you have Amulet, which resurrects Deathrattle minions.
Yeah, you do.
Which you get 4 in the pool after playing the quest reward once.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I might check that out. I haven't played Wild in a while, but I'm happy to go back. I barely played this past week for a few reasons. One, I just needed a bit of a break. I did play a little bit of Pain Demon Hunter today, which I kind of went back and forth. Killed a druid really fast. Ran into a member of our Discord, but I was like kind of tired and didn't even notice their name. Like they said greetings and I said greetings and I didn't like check see if they said greetings because I knew them, and then proceeded to, I had the turn 1 perfect curve, and they were basically just the go second disadvantage. You could have just coined conceded. I'm just saying. No, it's never required. It is never required. But,
Coin concede or else is the new tagline for the end of the show.
Or else I will kill you on 5, which is what happened. Yeah, and I played a tiny bit of Protoss Priest, hence my did I also run into Edel and not realize? Because that would have been on brand. But mostly, I got a little bit of an organizing kick, and my ADHD hasn't focused on organizing the apartment for probably 3 years. Since my husband first moved in before we were married, I have not been on an organizing kick. Or when he first did, I did the kitchen, and then I ran out of steam. And we sort of got this room. This room, if you're watching, it looks pretty nice, except for the pictures that have been on the floor this whole time because we still haven't hung a lot of art. And there's a nice bookcase. It's a mess, okay? And it's been a little bit cleaned and then a mess and a little bit cleaned and then a mess. And I never really got the hall closet figured out since he brought in his stuff, so that was a mess. And the bathroom under the sink was a mess. So we were moving stuff. We moved some furniture. We tried to move this very large, ugly armchair that we called Ugly Chair. And we tried to move it down our 2 flights of stairs. And we didn't even get down the first one before my husband sprained his elbow. So we were okay. Mostly because I couldn't help enough because I have really wimpy arms. So we hired people to take it away instead. And then all of this stressed out our cat. Because I was getting stuff out and organizing it, and I was wanting bins, and we were moving the furniture and all this stuff, and our cat hates that. So she started waking us up in the middle of the night, yowling in the litter box, straining, and then she also peed in various places on the floor. Luckily not on the couch yet. So I had to cancel some plans with a friend yesterday and take her to the vet. They were well, the good news is we don't see anything wrong. Bad news is we don't see anything wrong. So it's idiopathic, which is medical speak for we don't know. They say it's stress-related, so I got some gabapentin, which is an anti-anxiety med for anyone not familiar, that they also give to humans, but this is cat dose sized. And she powered through it like a champ, but also peed okay, so maybe it worked. I don't know, but she they were oh, she'll appear pretty sedated. She did not. She was up meowing. But maybe she would have been really agitated without it. I don't know. So anyway, cat is hopefully fine. We'll get more test results back tomorrow, hopefully, and make sure that it really is idiopathic. So I guess that's what I get for trying to ride my organizing kick. I was sitting there I have other things I need to be doing, but this only happens once every few years, so I'd better just see how far it goes. See if we can get all the art hung. See if we can get the second desk set up in this room.
I mean, so your organizing kick turned out to be idiopathic, is what you're saying. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but and I suppose it is pathological with the pathic there.
Yeah.
You're reminding me that I have just a ton of art and other things that I really ought to hang up in my office because it's just white walls. Could really fill that space. Could use a bookshelf too, probably. But
you could tell people when you're getting on this that you're just playing Path of Exile. That's what you're doing.
Well, we do have a little bit of news to talk about.
Rather than hearing about my cat's problems again.
Yes, I suppose we do. So we should talk about that news, and then we can, and then we're gonna, when we get into Dexplanations, we're gonna spend some time not talking about Standard, but talking about the Tavern Brawl that is not this week, but next week, the dual class Tavern Brawl, and we have some ideas of things you can do. Some of which are more fleshed out and some of which are exercises for the listener. But that'll be a fun thing to talk about. But we have some news to talk about first, so let's do that.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Okay, so we have, first of all, we just want to remind you that the Umbra's Uprising event is live, and you can go and start earning stuff for that. again, as we had talked about at the top of the show, there is the new weapon for Death Knight that is in the first batch of rewards, and there's a golden version at the last batch of rewards along with a Death Knight hero portrait. The twist with these quests is that they are co-op. So not only do the things that you're playing impact them, but also the things that your opponent is doing impacts them. So the weekly quest that they have to start with is co-op summon or destroy 350 Deathrattle minions in traditional modes. Ranked count for +2, undead count for +1. That is something, if you are playing a Deathrattle deck, like, oh, I don't know, Protoss Priest. What's good about that is that you're both advancing it for the cards that you are playing for yourself and that your opponent is doing to you, and vice versa. So you don't have to be doing that in order to advance the quest, but if you are, you're going to probably get double progress because you're counting it for everything that you're doing and also everything that your opponent is doing. So that is something to keep in mind, but also just play Hearthstone and you will finish these almost certainly.
Yeah, I was making progress playing Pain Demon Hunter, which has no death rattles. If you really want to get the most, you could play like Hand Buff Death Knight, which is totally viable right now. Or anything with death rattles, or just wait until you run into other people who are trying to finish the quest and be a freeloader. So, that works too.
Not that we endorse freeloading, but that is a something of a strategy that you can take on. So that is there. The less exciting news is that not only are the event quests back, but so's the Dark Moon Fair, at least in China. So this is a tweet from Gian. Gian is one of the Chinese players who tends to give us news from the China server, which is kind of on an island. And there is a new event with the Dark Moon Fair that is only live for China. You will see some of these cosmetics that are in the China Dark Moon Fair in the other clients, but they are not active yet. So presumably this is coming back for us as well, but for right now, they started with China right away. You can see if you're watching on the stream or in the video, Yogg is the big draw. So there is a Yogg legendary, is it legendary portrait, mythic portrait? I forget what the term is this week.
Mythic. So like the Ragnaros. Yeah.
Or the Cthulhu really is I think is probably the closest.
No, like the Ragnaros, it breaks out of its frame, multiple. It takes over the whole half of your board. The Zerg Queen.
Oh, yeah, Kerrigan. Yeah.
Kerrigan.
And it's for multiple classes, right? Like we can't necessarily.
It's for Mage and Warlock.
Mage and Warlock. So
you can tell because it's in the client, but not obtainable. If you go into portraits and you look at ones you don't own for Mage and Warlock, it's there. As are the Demon Hunter Deirdre one, and there's a Hunter one as well.
Yeah. So the other things that are in here, you have a Lost City of Ungoro Golden Pack, a Lost City of Ungoro Random Golden Legendary, Signature Torga, a Hunter Skin Monster Slayer Vivian, the Demon Hunter Skin Deirdre, a Signature Infested Breath, Signature Sanguine Infestation, Diamond card for High Cultist Heren, which is the legendary for Death Knight, and a Signature Hideous Husk. So interesting that the portrait is Mage and Warlock, but most of the other rewards are for Death Knight. But whatever. Anyway, you can expect that the pricing, I don't think we heard for sure what the pricing is, but it doesn't sound like the pricing has changed. You still get one free spin. That is unlikely to get you the portrait, unless they've changed the odds, and we'll find out when it gets live here, but I highly doubt that. So
are we sure it's going to go live here?
I mean, the cosmetics are in our client, and they say that they are going to be distributed via Dark Moon Fair. So
what they say is obtainable via Dark Moon Treasures or when available in the shop. So we don't know 100% for sure, but it does mention Dark Moon Treasures specifically.
Well,
Yeah.
so I I think we can all agree we wish they would remove the Dark Moon Fair part, but I am pleased to hear that these will eventually be in the shop because genuinely I want half of these things. Not the Yogg, though it is cool but distracting. Yeah, a bunch of these are for Death Knight. The Leech cards, I would use those so much. Like, it's all the Leech cards. And I like the Hunter and Demon Hunter portraits as well, but I'm not going to engage with this system to try and get them. You know, I'll do the free spin because why not? But yeah, I hope that it's not too long before I get to see them in the shop. It's just one of those things where, like, I don't know. I'm sure that because some people struggle with these kinds of systems, I'm sure that it does make them a ton of money.
I'm sure it works.
It's just, it also loses a ton of goodwill.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like strip mining, right?
Yeah.
To some extent, where you are going to get a lot at once, but you are destroying things in the process.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're doing. And I mean, if that's what they're comfortable with, then so be it. It is what it is. It's hard to argue that it's going to make the money because I'm sure it is. I mean, I've seen more King Crush pets over the last week or so. So, I mean, some people have bought into it, and if they have whales, they're going to try to separate them from their money, and that's going to make the executives happy. So,
and I'm sure there's some combination of people who do the assessment and are like, yeah, I'd spend $160 for all those cosmetics, right? Like, and are fine with that. And then there's some people who do not know the probability and get screwed. But
right.
The story that broke my heart, and then I we'll move on, but was about this father who played Hearthstone with his son, and then when the pet came out, like, all the kid wanted was the pet, and like, it sort of ruined his experience playing Hearthstone with his son because there's no way he was going to spend $160 on this thing. And that sucks. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I want to add, it does feel like, wow, they got a bunch of negative feedback and they immediately put this in. And I am surprised that they put it back in so quickly. This had to have been planned a long time ago that they were going to, because like they didn't make Yogg in the past few weeks, right? I do still wish they would look at it and be like, well, we can just put it in the shop. We have the technology. Yeah, I don't agree with it, but it's not like they suddenly, like, this was clearly planned a while ago. It is tone deaf to continue with it. I agree, but
I would expect that this patch was probably locked before they got any feedback. So, I mean, that is something to keep in mind with a game like this, is that the development is both the client. I mean, the design we know goes like a year out, but even like the development, like they have multiple patches that they're developing in parallel, right? And they probably have had this, if they were planning to do it this quickly, then they had this baked into the patch probably for at least a month, which would have been when the first pets came out. So and it probably would have been more work for them to rip it out, right? So maybe they do it and see what the response is when it's not a pet, right? I mean, there is something to be said, as much as I would love for them to just stop. It's possible that when it's not a pet that people have been waiting for a year, that the response to this is not nearly as good, right? Especially having done this once, there is some wallet fatigue in, if you've gone through that once and you kept rolling until you got King Crush, those people may have found like a sunk cost fallacy and just kind of kept putting money into it because they didn't realize, and now they know. And it'll be interesting to see if the reception, what we can complain about it till we're blue in the face, right? It doesn't really matter. What matters is whether people engage with it or not. And it could be that the second time around, knowing what the actual cost is after the fact, that fewer people will engage with it than they did the first time. I don't know. Or people are whales and they're willing to spend the money. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to spend their money or not. Like if you have $158 and you want all that stuff, you know, that's your decision on how to spend your money. And I wouldn't judge you for that. But I'm just talking about like on the aggregate, are people going to engage with it again this quickly? I don't know.
Shout out to Wash in the Wind for pointing out that like there's something poetic about locking a really insane Yogg portrait behind a a 10-spin gambling machine.
Yeah.
Complete RNG BS.
Yeah.
Is in your way for Yogg.
I will also add that this is as much of a like ADHD nightmare that as Cthulhu was, and
like even more. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff going on, and I will not be sad at all if I never see this portrait across the table. I will be thrilled. But that has nothing to do with even how it's purchased. It's just there's a lot of movement and it's very distracting, and I wish, please put in reduced motion. Please, for the love of God, I am begging. Please put in reduced motion or squelch the motion when you squelch the portrait or something, because it is so much cognitive load to have to look at it and just see the movement and have to react to it. Anyhow, that's my soapbox for that. So one other piece of news, there was a bug with the card back for August, and that has been fixed. So you should see, if you finished your 5 ranked games, which you probably have by now, you should get granted, or you should have gotten granted if you're listening to this after the fact, the August card back once you logged in. It is not it's not another grant. This is just the actual card back that you were supposed to get, because the card back that was in the client was this one on the screen, which is just the bare basic blue Hearthstone card, which is not a particularly exciting reward. So that's been replaced with the actual card back, and so now you will have that in your client the next time that you log in if you haven't been there already. And that's news. So let's talk about the kinds of decks that you're going to be able to build in a week or less, depending on when you're listening to this.
All right, so as we're recording this, it's still a week away, but as we mentioned last week, there is a dual-class Tavern Brawl that is coming next Wednesday, August 13th, or it might be this Wednesday by the time you're listening to this, and that will be going for a week. We had a conversation about how it really feels like this should have been a twist. There's so much, like, the longer we've been sitting here thinking about what are cool things we could do in this brawl, the more we thought there are so many options. It might be that something completely takes over on the first few days, but I think we'll still be scratching the surface by the end of the week on what are the possibilities. And there's going to be broken stuff in it, but that's, part of the fun, and probably less so than Wild still. Yeah, but we will still have it for at least a week, and hopefully they will bring it back, and maybe we'll get it as a twist at some point. Although it's not like they can just turn around and immediately offer that as a twist, because there's back end on that, I'm sure, but hopefully we'll get it eventually. But in the meantime, it will be a fun, different thing to play. So in this twist, you pick a primary class, which has your hero power, but you don't need to have any fixed amount of cards from it. You add cards from your primary class, and then you choose a secondary class and add cards from that. And it can be any 2 classes. There's no limits on it. And it's a standard format. So anything in standard is in there. The only thing you cannot do is put a tourist in. We asked, and they said tourists are banned, which makes sense in that that's the simplest way to deal with not getting bugs or other problems, or what if there's 2 tourists, or no tourists. So that means no Lanessa, which is probably for the best, but
no Vol'jin too.
Portalmancer Skyla, which is probably also fine.
Yeah.
One thing that Wicked pointed out that was hilarious was if you're feeling like you want the easy deck building, you can just play Hand Buff Hunter without Gilly.
Yeah, and it's
Seems
an
good.
immediate upgrade. Immediate
Yep.
upgrade.
Just same list, put in something else for Gilly, done.
Yeah.
I mean, do the copy Zilliax, right? Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Put in that instead of Gilly, that's your third minion. Perfect, done. But what we did was we have made a long list that we're not going to talk through every single one in the show notes of just like ideas we had. Now, there's no way as we're recording to theory craft these decks in a deck builder. And we don't know exactly what the UI is going to look like when the Tavern Brawl comes out either. We don't know if there's going to be deck strings. Maybe HS Guru will put together something. But so right now what we have is ideas with differing levels of detail, but there is going to be a certain amount of fill in the decks. And as we get closer to, I'm sure if you look in our Discord or just search on the internet, people will have more refined lists. But what we're doing is just like, what are all the possibilities, which especially if you're kind of a deck builder is really fun. But even if you're not, I started this with like, I have no ideas at all. And then we started talking about things and I was like, oh, this card would be really good in this. So part of what we've done is look at, what are powerful cards that would really be good in other classes? So for example, Resuscitate. We could have this whole podcast just be like, why Resuscitate is good in every class.
and not just because the two of us are priest mains, but and I think that like if you're struggling with how to build for this, like really one of the easiest ways the reason that we kind of structured it this way is that one of the easiest ways that you can build is take a standard deck and figure it out what card or two copies of a card could you put in that would just make it busted, and do that, right? So you don't have to go like 50-50 on a deck and on the two classes. If you want to, you can just take Resuscitate and put it in Starship Death Knight and call it a day, right? And then you're going to get more copies of either Guiding Figure or the Spire, right? Which is either one of those is fine, right? Just getting more of those and then being able to just make the Starship that much bigger. And that's it. And that's all you do. And you find something that you want to take out that you don't want, and you're good. I mean, you have Wild Pyromancer that you're going to get off of the Resuscitate also, or the 2/1 that drops a 1/1, right? That in either of those, getting Reborn is also fine. Maybe you cut something for a 1-drop if you really want to, but I don't even think you need to. I think 2 and a 3-drop is probably good enough for Resuscitate to get value out of it.
Other thought, Triple and Holy DK, with Grave Strength. You've got Auchenai Death Speaker and Monstrous Mosquito as ones, where after another friendly minion is reborn, summon a copy of it. Quite good when you give them all reborn. Monstrous Mosquito, at the end of your turn, give your other minions +1 attack, right? So the minions you just summoned all get buffed attack. Battlefield Necromancer, end of your turn, raise a corpse as a 1/3 Risen Footman with Taunt. So like it's just like huge instant board. Dreadhound Handler, of course, would also be nuts. Summoning that with Reborn, you get an immediate rush twice, and like lots of corpses, lots of minions in play. And then at that point, I don't even think the 3 cost matters, but I'm sure there's decent ones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Valric is fine. I mean, maybe you look to Priest for 3s.
You could do, even if you're not doing a Frostbitten Freebooter deck, you could just throw that in there as like, it makes it hard for them to respond to your board. And it's a Deathrattle. You could also do a Frostbitten Freebooter, which, by the way, for those people who don't know what that card is, it's a 3-mana, I think 2/2 Deathrattle, freeze 3 enemies. If they're already frozen, they take 5 damage. You could build something specifically for that with like the Alkanite Death Speaker that when it's reborn, you summon a copy, and Pyromancer or even Doomsayer to help, probably Pyromancer so that you can kill things off when you play Resuscitate, and then the Freebooter. That's an option. And there is a sort of a fringe Freebooter deck already running around.
You also could just run Chillfallen Baron, right?
Yeah,
that's
Chillfallen Baron is fine. Yep.
Yeah. Like that's fine. That's a 3 that draws you 2 cards. That's good. We're good. We don't need to think too hard about that. Yeah.
Chillfallen, Valric, and Archaeos.
Yep.
So, And yeah, you'll have just like infinite corpses, so many minions that are extremely, extremely sticky, and then just go for grave strength. Don't think there's like that much more to think about there. Maybe if you want another board buff, you can go for the get them all +1/+1 and elusive. But yeah, I mean that would be quite potent.
Yeah, I think just smorking people is probably, if you just want to get your win or just get some wins on it, because it's not a twist, it doesn't have a ladder. But on the other hand, if you're the kind of person who listens to this podcast and therefore a really engaged player, remember that Tavern Brawls don't have the same MMR matching. So if you are a more skilled than average player, you're probably going to be beating up on a lot of people. So now a lot of people will just like play the Tavern Brawl briefly and then go out. But there's good and bad to it not being a ranked ladder, I suppose. And it's not a heroic brawl either, or something like that. So you could also do Resuscitate with starships in other classes. I'm hesitant to even mention this, but Starship Demon Hunter probably doesn't mind having extra of its like own starship. Like you could put in its own starship pieces too to make the starship even bigger, and have Resuscitate for that. Hunter's kind of an interesting one because of if you had more biopods, then it does biopod does the damage as a Deathrattle.
On a personal note, I love the idea of DC having to wrestle with the idea of having to craft 2 copies of a priest epic to be able to make more biopods. That makes my day.
It's not just biopod. The other starship piece, Specimen Claw, is a 3-drop.
Right.
So it slots in perfectly.
It's just really good for what that deck wants to do. And I love the idea that it would require crafting 2 copies of a priest epic. So
and catch of the day, right? Catch of the day, biopod, Specimen Claw. I mean,
catch of the day is in Protoss Priest now with Resuscitate, right? Like that's just and you're running the weapon anyway to get the catch of the day out. So, maybe not, but just to draw it out of the deck. So
looks
catch of the day is really good with Resuscitate just because you get 2 attacks with it if you're killing off the first one. So yeah, in Starship Hunter, that's actually pretty good, and it might even be better than in Death Knight, honestly, just because you have the 2 Starship pieces that are at 2 different mana costs.
Yeah, just quick side note, no particular deck here, but also a thing to consider, just mixing starship pieces in general, right? Like having more pieces for the Death Knight one, right? Like instead of going for Resuscitate, you go Death Knight Hunter, right? And you get Biopod.
Yeah.
Biopod seems good with Brittlebone Buccaneer and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or Demon Hunter and you give it Rush and Wind Fury, right? That seems pretty good too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think Biopod because, direct damage, right? And activating that Deathrattle with guiding figure.
Yeah.
And also being able to launch your ship, and now, like, they can't play minions, right? Because the minions will get attacked.
You could play also the Hunter thing that activates the Deathrattle, so you can activate it even more times.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay, that's spooky. See?
Yeah.
And then there's other things, right? Like Warrior with the ability to resurrect taunts, resurrect big mechs, adding anything additional to the Warrior starship, right? Whether that means Biopod or it means Soulbound Spire, right? Just even if the starship pieces you're putting in are not mechs, the fact that like the big starship will be a mech just because you're Terran as Warrior means that you can do some pretty silly stuff there, and be able to resurrect starship pieces you would not normally get to with Raynor.
Yeah, and I mean we also were talking about Inventor Boom, right? And that's another card that you could abuse. Getting a mothership out of that seems fun. So there's things that you can do there as well. Just kind of slot that into that's a pretty decent card. You could just slot into a Protoss Priest. Maybe you play that. You could just play that instead of like Umbra. honestly. And then that's your deck if you want it to be, right? Again,
run Ziliax. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to this is what I mean, that you don't have to go all in on like making it 50-50. You can just like, okay, what deck would be improved with like one card? Okay, there you go. There's your deck. Have fun. There's
lots of like Deathrattle-y things. This is a little bit lower, but I haven't even thought about what would work for this, so this is more exercise for the reader. But Archdruid of Thorns in Warlock, which is the one that was used for the Amalgam Warlock. Battlecry, gain the Deathrattles of your minions that died this turn with Amalgam of the Deep. But any Deathrattle now.
No,
I'm sorry,
no.
So Amalgam Warlock in any class.
Yeah.
That seems fun. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of Deathrattle synergy in general. And when you get it from two different classes that don't normally get to talk to each other, like there's probably some pretty disgusting things you can do with Deathrattles in general.
Well, and like if that used Nomelia as like a stacking deal 2 damage to kill the opponent, like there's got to be something better than that. I mean, Ball Hog. I don't know.
Even just Ball Hog, Freebooter, Stegodon.
The sizzling cinders are neutrals, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. I think the main thing is a balance between like damage and like something cheap that you can do in the same turn to like actually get it on the Archdruid. But yeah,
Stegodon's a little expensive. That's the 6 mana 6/3 Deathrattle, deal 6 damage to 3 random enemies.
I mean, I guess Biopod again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It triggers for itself, not just on the Starship, right? So, and then you have a giant Starship in case you need it later.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry, listener. Sorry, or you're welcome, whichever way you're going with that. Some other things that we were looking at. New Heights could be useful in lots of decks.
Well, I guess before we go off the Deathrattle stuff, Curse Campaign is the other one, right? That's kind of fishing in the same pond, right? So getting Curse Campaign on a Death Knight Starship is kind of gross, or on the Hunter Starship either, right? Like launch the Starship, put Curse Campaign on it. If that's not enough damage, then you have that much more. There's a lot of things that, or you can put Curse Campaign in a Protoss Priest, get two motherships back. That seems fine, right? There's a whole bunch of things that you could do with Curse Campaign that are kind of also in the same genre of things. So depending on how you want to abuse the Deathrattles.
Yeah, I mean, I guess fortunately, Dark Marrow will not be allowed because that would be silly.
Yeah.
But in general, right, like there's stuff that Warlock has used for armor, Starship, and there's stuff that Death Knight uses. You could just put those together.
Yeah. Like peanut butter and chocolate.
Or sorry, not Death Knight, Demon Hunter. You know what I meant.
New Heights, you do have to remember, so it's easy to forget when you're thinking about these things like, oh, I could take Warrior with New Heights and put it into something else. It's like, no, you lose the Druid cards if you're doing Warrior into something else, right? But you can still mix Druid with something other than Warrior now if you want access to New Heights. Or if you want access to Aulonius. I don't know how we're breaking Aulonius in this, but surely we are somehow, right?
Oh, there's got to be something.
Yeah.
I mean, and genuinely, it may even just be like, well, yeah, you still do mage, you just don't run the tourist because you can't. Like,
or you have that spell that gives you a Starfire and a Moonfire, right? With spell damage.
Well, and also there's the spell that gives a minion +1 spell damage, right? Or freezes.
Shaman with the Lava Burst.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the new card that does 2, but like 3 times. So that benefits a lot from the spell damage.
Yeah. Also, Shaman has Novice Sapper, right? So that's just more spell damage if you want it. So yeah. Yeah.
Shaman has Triangulate, which I don't think you need, but it does have it.
True. Yep.
I mean, you could do an Aulonius Asteroid Shaman if you want to, if you really want to be fancy.
You know what else Shaman has is Hex. If people are doing gross Deathrattle stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Against you. Yeah.
And also just like clear capability. I mean, not amazing clear capability, but better than Druid.
Better than Druid, yeah.
Yeah.
The drink with spell damage is quite a lot better. You just have a dollhouse out. You have
True.
lots of magma.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's multiple. You know, it clears and stuff. It'll depend on what we're seeing. I don't know whether we're going to have like a cohesive meta with a few things, or it's just going to be absolute chaos. We'll find out. But
I mean, at first it'll be
depend on the
absolute chaos. It may coalesce into a meta. It may not, right?
But
it's also going to depend on like how much people keep going back to the well, right?
Yeah. I've got to imagine that there's so many options, and like power is opened up so much when you're pulling from two classes that like maybe a meta will develop, and then immediately people will be like, well, let's counter that then. Right? Like yeah.
For anybody who feels like we're in a format that doesn't have nearly enough power, this will be
will not be that
ranked ladder, but this will be a little break from that. This is going to have more power for sure. All right, I'm sorry to bring this up, Wicked, but Shadow Step is good in a lot of classes too.
Yeah.
It sure is.
You know what? Because I want to be nice to you. We'll just let other people figure this one out. But yeah, Shadow Step will do things. No doubt.
Yeah.
Someone
Also
said
prep.
Quest Shaman. As a one minor example, you get to play your reward again.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the thing.
Yeah.
That's really what you're playing it for. But there's anything with a battle cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes us into quests in general. Maybe another opportunity. Maybe part of the problem is just like support cards aren't good enough. I think that's certainly true for some of them. And so maybe taking a fresh look at some of these things when you have more of the thing the quest needs available that's not doable for all of them, right? Like DK, nothing else spends corpses, so that's not helping. But the Druid quest could, I think, Megesa, you were talking before the show about Paladin go wide stuff.
Yeah, Aggro Paladin's good. You've got Crusader's Aura as like an extra way to have payoff earlier. You've got Muster for Battle. I feel like Paladin just has even more board flood capability than Druid, so that really ups your support for that.
Maybe also Demon Hunter, right, with the pirate location and Zerg stuff. That could be something there.
And patches, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, just having go wide stuff from other classes seems like it could be strong there.
Yeah.
I want to just briefly touch on Quest Rogue, which I really just see as Jade Display. Jade Display is a 1-mana 1/1 Druid minion that says Deathrattle, shuffle 2 Jade Displays into your deck, and your Jade Displays have +1/+1. So, they scale like Jades, right? And you keep shuffling more into your deck, so you're never going to run out, you're never going to deck, and you'll have constant threats. I'm definitely going to try this. It'll be like Jade Druid, right? In a really weird way. And the other reason that it could function is that Druid, in addition to that, comes with a lot of targeted minion draw to keep pulling them, right? So that they keep dying and shuffling back in to actually be able to complete the quest. Because while you have the insane 1-mana draw 2 hero power after completing, you do still need to get there. And so being able to target minion draw to get your Jade Displays or Moonstone Maulers, like I imagine you just wouldn't run any minions except those that shuffle things into your deck. I feel like it could be a thing.
I guess the other way that you could go with that is Warlock, because then you have mass production.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. The thing there, though, is you still need actual stuff you want. And mass production is not really stuff you want. It does complete the quest quickly, but you do need a way of killing the opponent, and I think you would deck very, very quickly. And you've got the ninjas, the Ninja Turtles that cast when drawn, but they they don't count as like drawing a card the way that the Jades do. Like Jades solves the threats for ending the game problem and the never fatiguing problem. Yeah, in a way that Warlock turbos you towards fatigue and doesn't actually add to your threats.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing that we were thinking, we had put this Mage and Hunter Discover going together. So it seems like if you had Niall, for example, that should work with the Mage quest. It just says discover 8 cards, and the reward just says when you discover, not when you like play a discover. Plus the discover synergy in like the taunts is really good. You clearly would want to play that in Mage quest if you could. The get a copy of something that you discover, a Rangari Scout, clearly a good option. You can play bird watching, maybe. Like you just have like lots of tracking.
Yeah.
So you can actually discover from your own deck and not just random stuff.
I mean, I imagine a world where like Niall is the only minion, or maybe Niall and Scout, right? And you bird watching for those. And then it's like, well, I always have this hero power to help complete the quest. And then it gets really weird. If you play the weapon where it's like you hero power for 3 cards in your deck and auto cast 2 of them, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems messy.
Because especially because some of those things you're auto casting probably are also discovers.
Yeah.
And they're not minions, right? So who knows if they're targeted, then that also gets a little messy, but who knows? I mean, like, we're not climbing ladder here, right? If you're gonna have fun with it, have fun with it. Like if this is something that you want to make the Mage quest happen, this is a way to do it.
Yeah.
Like also like the Priest quest with Warlock, right? Both because Warlock has a lot of shadow spells, or maybe Paladin, because Paladin is a bunch of holy spells. Either way, I mean, depending on whichever one you feel like you have more trouble with, you could do that. The other thing that Warlock gives you is Curse Campaign, which is a shadow spell and also is kind of busted on the quest reward for Priest. So that's something else and also having access to the Warlock hero power just would give you a little bit of the card draw that Priest is generally lacking. So that's another thing. Consider, and Priest would have enough healing to be able to make up for whatever you're doing by hitting yourself in the face with the Warlock hero power. So that's something that, it's got a bunch of synergies that can kind of work together that way.
You know what else has a lot of shadow spells is Death Knight. Soul Searching, discover a card from your deck, spend 5 corpses to copy it.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the main one. Threads of Despair. You couldn't do like Soul Searching and Corpse Explosion because they conflict in runes. I assume we still can't conflict in runes, but yeah, there's lots of ways to open up more support for these quests. Like on the one hand, we've talked about, I don't want to totally reopen this conversation. We talked about packages succeeding or failing together, but it also helps if they have a lot of support. And when you just increase the number of cards available, you increase support. So, okay, we said hand buff Hunter without Gilly. Edel, you had written Mage/Shaman Elementals.
Yeah, should be pretty self-explanatory, but and in general, I would say anything that has like this class favors this kind of minion. Maybe I should think about these minions in other classes. Yeah, could be pretty solid, but yeah, Mage Shaman seemed like just the most clear pairing because they are the 2 classes that have been focused on elemental synergy for like just themselves. So if you get to just pick the best ones from each, like maybe you get something really aggressive because you get to take Wailing Vapor from Shaman after you play an elemental, gain 1 attack. And that's a good 1-drop, but they also both care about fire spell damage, and so having Volcanic Thrasher and specifically like the Shaman fire spells in potentially Malted Magma, but also as we discussed with Alonius, the deal 2 damage 3 times, right? That with potentially Saroon seems good.
Imagine if Malted Magma still went face. That would be pretty good, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, it just seems like a natural pairing. Also, side note, just occurred to me, Paladin's weapon of tutor your highest cost stuff I was thinking of that in terms of Saroon, right? Like if that's the highest cost elemental in your deck. Paladin doesn't have a lot of elementals, but that weapon just is so good.
I mean, you don't need to run elementals. You run the weapon. That's your paladin. Those are your paladin cards. That's it. You're good, right? Like you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, and when with, especially if you went back with the like mage and shaman elementals, having like conjured bookkeeper to draw the shaman fire spells.
So good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this. Maybe I'll get my husband can build it, and I'll see if I can get him back in for a few games because he played a bunch of elemental mage.
Yeah, you can relive the salad days of elemental mage pre-rotation.
Yep. Yeah, we said a bunch. Is there anywhere else that we'd put Exarch Nail? I mean, I suppose Exarch Nail and Hunter. It makes obvious sense with the mage quest, but just anything where you want more consistency.
Yep. Yeah. Or anything spell focused, right? Because you can just do bird watching for Niall and then have discover for a spell based deck.
Yeah. And remember, you can have up to 3 minions and be guaranteed to find her, so you don't have to have like only her.
I mean, if you're playing her, you're playing Regnari Scout, and you just find one other minion, right?
Yeah.
Could be the Noggling tide pool people.
Sure.
Or something matching whatever deck you're in. This was an idea that Wicked had, but Pain Warlock / Pain Priest. At first we were thinking, Pain Demon Hunter, but then we realized the whole Pain part of Pain Demon Hunter is actually Priest. And you can't run the Tourist in this mode, but you can run all of that stuff. So unfortunately you can't do this with Arana, but you can still run all of those cards like Acupuncture. In Priest, you can run Hearthstone from Warlock to help a little bit, because that heals up all damage you did to yourself this turn.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Infernal to heal yourself back up. That's just something where we've gotten that same kind of synergy in 2 different classes.
Yeah, I mean, Acupuncture with like the 2-drop where it gets, plus stats equal to the damage you've taken this turn. That's a nice like turn 3 5/5.
Yeah, Fearless Flame Juggler. And they both have a sort of like aggressive theme, so you could just smork people down. Malefic Rook, 3 mana, 5/6. Battlecry attack your hero. That's a turn 5 if you play that with the 2-drop.
But plus, you can also run things like Greater Healing Potion if you're playing Priest, right? Like to undo some of the damage that you've done. You may not need to, but if that's something that you're concerned about, like you do have the healing. Or, I mean, I guess it's a matter of like which hero power you pick. I would imagine it's probably still the Warlock hero power, but if you are concerned about burning yourself down too fast, then maybe you might hang on to the Priest hero power.
Yeah, it's aggressive, so I'd imagine you like generally don't want to be hero powering that much. But I could see a world where you like toss in Flash Heal or something.
In case you get in an aggro mirror. As like in case you need to blink type of card, but mostly you're going to be trying to smork.
Probably not that one.
Well, you're conceding if you haven't won by turn 10.
Wait, just Mystified Tocha.
Yeah, actually.
Unlikely, but hilarious.
I
mean, if you feel like doing a math problem, yeah.
The problem almost would be that you end up too low for Tocha.
It would only work if they were armoring up.
I mean, you can burn yourself down to 12 pretty quick, I would think. So.
Yeah, but they need to be at full health, which you don't want.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Ideally, you are also burning them.
Yeah.
So there is payoff cards we've never really played for Pain and Priest, like Sensory Deprivation. Summon a copy of an enemy minion if you have 20 or less health. Destroy the original. We're probably not playing that, but
that also costs 6 mana, which feels like it's like a million in a deck like this.
Yeah, but you are playing Sauna regular, I think, for sure. Cost 1 less for each time your hero has taken damage on your turn, 5/5 taunt.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? That seems like, I mean, we've never played that before, but that seems like the perfect time to...
Oh, no.
I guess you did play that a little bit, yeah.
It's never been, like, always in the deck or anything, but it has come up.
Yeah.
We've just usually been doing Menagerie stuff, so...
I don't know if they're, like, the right ones, but Warlock does also have more shadow spells, so, like, maybe it's easier to activate the... 4/7 lifesteal, right? That discounts to 1 if you played a Holy and Shadow spell in the same turn.
No, yeah.
Could help mitigate some of the damage.
Yeah, so then you would definitely want to be running Flash Heal, Power Word Shield, and
Yeah.
Orbital Halo. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Lightspeed if you're feeling spicy.
No.
So if you have the Warlock hero power, a major problem with this deck is draw, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you
Yeah,
can tap
problem
later in
solved.
the game if you need more. Yeah. Yep. All right, well, I'll be trying that. I don't know how it'll hold up against everything else, but I will definitely give it a try and report back. On a very different side of Priest, all I wrote here was give Aviana Priest a win con.
Yeah. This is where we're going to start leaving things up to leaving things out as an exercise for the listener, because I don't know what it is, but there's probably something better than Champions of Azeroth to do with Aviana if you give it another class. I don't know
There's
what it
gotta
is.
be, right?
There has to be. I don't know
Druids, surely, somehow, right?
I
Yeah.
guess, but I feel like it's weird because I feel like probably Aulonius can manage just fine without Aviana.
Yeah.
But I guess it would certainly be a way to do Aulonius. Yeah, it does certainly strike me as like, well, there's got to be something that cares about cheating that much mana.
Maybe it's some sort of like an entomologist Toru angle or something. I don't know.
Protoss Mage without needing to do all the discounting.
Yeah. I mean,
guess.
there's something. I'm just looking at big, expensive things, right? And like, I don't know.
Yeah, Krog plus Briar Spawn Drake. So you make them 1/1s and then you have 12/12s going into it. But surely we can do better than that. Like there must be some just like infinite damage combo.
We'll let other folks work on that one.
Yeah.
Whether it's fast enough is another question, but there's got to be something.
Yeah.
Speaking of Protoss Mage, though, you can also just do Protoss Druid / Mage. So then you get access to Construct Pylons and just more Protoss cards.
I mean, probably also Carrier, right? Then it's just another round of damage besides playing Colossus. So, but yeah, the big reason is pylons, construct pylons,
and you can run new heights while you're at it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for those who've forgotten, construct pylons is 0 mana spell. Your next Protoss card this turn costs 2 less. So that's card, could be a spell or a minion.
Yep.
Or a location. Though you wouldn't usually do that. Yeah. I wrote here Cliff Dive plus Stegodon or General Big Demon Hunter and DK.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cliff Dive seems like there's got to be multiple classes where you could do something.
I mean, there's probably something you can do if you're getting something from other classes in there. Who knows what it is? Maybe it's like testing dummy. I don't know. That seems probably not it.
We need things that aren't just death rattles. We need things that like trigger end of turn
or on attack. Oh, you know what? The what's that Draenei from Warrior?
Yeah, when it attacks, you get an extra.
Yeah, Exarch something or other, right? Like
Exarch a comma.
Yeah. So that with the Cliff Dive could be very funny. I mean, you need to super not draw patches with that deck. But yeah, that could be especially well, I guess it doesn't really matter with Illidari Inquisitor because that's your face that's attacking, not the minions, but
right.
Yeah.
You need to have something else already on the board. Or something with charge, but
it's Exarch, Kakama, and Grom, right? Like those are the 2 minions that you want. I don't know how you make it just that, but that's got to be something.
Yeah, it seems like probably a meme, but
I mean everything's a meme, so it's fine, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Pirate Rogue and Demon Hunter both have pirates.
Yeah. Again, in the vein of, check your tribal decks, see if they get better with the ones from other classes.
I mean, Eliza Goreblade is probably something you want in a pirate deck.
Yeah, potentially. But like with Rogue, Demon Hunter, you get this thing of like you've got patches and of course the location and the Rogue weapon. Right? And that weapon is quite good, particularly with the like make them 4/4s thing. So It just feels like you could have a density of just like these are good pirate cards. That maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Or I guess you could do pirate rogue with warrior and get like cup of muscle for the bargain bin buccaneer, that sort of a thing.
It's a little bit of a nombo with the location, but you aren't hitting the location every turn.
Yeah.
You could try to use the location instead for things that you summon. You could also maybe do the rogue plus the death knight to get like, do we want Eliza?
Yeah, we could mention that
in rogue as opposed to Eliza and demon hunter, right? So one day we'll have we'll have a brawl that's just like literally you can put any card from any class into one deck. That would be hilarious.
Actually, Conniving Conman is actually kind of funny in this brawl, which is 4 mana 4/4 battle cry. Replay the last card you play from another class.
Oh god, yeah, that's gonna break something.
Yeah. So I mean that with Eliza is probably a thing. So you play you play Eliza, you shadow step it. Next turn you play Conman, then you play Eliza again. I don't know.
There's got to be better things that we do with that just win the game.
This is my attempt to get in the head of a rogue player, so
there's got to be big stuff that we do with Conniving Conman, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure there's stuff that we're going to do with Conniving Conman that's going to be gross. So, and a lot less work. When you can put the cards in your deck, right? Then we've seen that with some of the things that I blacked it out of my memory when when Paladin and Mage were touring into Rogue, right?
So there could be like Aulonius using Rogue, right? So you can New Heights and then Conman the New Heights, or like Aulonius and Conman the Aulonius.
Yeah. Just the one thing with Conniving Conman, do be sure that you're choosing Rogue as your first class.
Right, yes.
I mean, I guess not necessarily, now that I say that. If you want the Rogue cards, again, you choose whatever the other class is first, and then Conniving Conman will replay the Rogue cards.
We did it. Conman replays Shoplifter Goldbeard. It fills your board with Goldbeards. If there were no board space, that would just be an OTK, right? Because you would summon Goldbeards forever.
That would be a Magic
style
attack. Infinite combo,
Yeah.
That would be like we're playing Commander now.
Yeah.
Not infrequently, if I send my friend who has played a little Hearthstone but mostly plays Commander, I'll like send her, "This was a crazy game," and she's like, "Well, not by Commander standards."
Yeah.
But seems like it is for Hearthstone. So, what we were doing with Conman was like tsunami stuff before, but we probably have even more options. Now. Goldbeard is hilarious with that. Although Conman does take up a board slot, unfortunately.
Quick note just occurred to me looking at the Rogue cards and just thinking about Rogue. The new DK weapon, you could just break whatever you want with the Rogue hero power, and that's a board clear.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that you could do with Rogue, I mean, this is really not in the spirit of the Brawl, but this is Rogue, so that's their jam, is not doing things in the spirit of they were intended, but like you could pick any other class as your primary, put like 2 cards in there, and then just run Treasure Hunter Eudora, and then everything triggers it, right? And then you just speed run the Eudora side quest.
That might be worth doing, right? Like if you're actually completing that very quickly, treasures are quite good. You like still run Shadow Step, or like other bounce things and just be like, yeah, we're a treasures deck. I could see like mixing Rogue with something control, and then you're just like, yeah, Eudora is my win con. I just win with treasures. Seems reasonable.
Might be something to do with Tess.
Oh, God.
That might be a little bit too uncontrolled. You'd have to have more Rogue stuff.
You'd have to have the right things for Tess. I feel like that would be a little bit different. But I would replay.
Just Tess Shadow Step when you're starting as any other class is just like, Yeah.
That stuff gets pretty silly.
Yeah, that one you would start. Yeah, you would start as rogue so that Tess would replay your other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it would have to be a curated package of things that wins you the game when she replays it.
Yeah.
Maybe the shaman
Galactic
spell
Protection
again.
Orb.
Yes, tell the
Yeah,
rogue players
maybe
to play a
mage-
10 mana card so that they don't do
It's
anything.
fine.
Yeah.
They play it for 7 because, sandbox counter.
That's really 8, though.
Yeah, whatever. You can
They
still
have
get coins.
from stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Are there any weapons that you could use with, like, Swarthy Sword Shiner?
I was thinking about that too, probably. But look at us, just talking about rogue cards a bunch.
Yeah, I know.
well,
I know. I should probably take some medicine or something because I must be getting
Here's
sick.
one that reminds me of, a rogue card pre-nerf, which is Neri of the Crater. Reminds me of Sonya before the nerf, because there's just gotta be something with Neri and 1-cost spells. The first thing I thought of is Mage, because Mage has the 1-cost either freeze a minion or actually give a minion +1 spell damage. So you go Neri, give her +2 spell damage because, that'll copy. If you've got another one, do it again. And then play 1-cost burn spells, right? Like, you've got Flame Geyser, you've got Wound Prey and Arcane Shot in Hunter itself. Maybe run Mixologist, Grifta. Yeah.
Oh my god, if Seabreeze Chalice still went face. Seabreeze Chalice would clear the board if you needed it, but you want to go face.
I think go with the flow is what makes it Mage over like anything else, because getting the spell damage is just so crucial. I don't know how fast it would be, but you could get some serious numbers later on.
Oh, acupuncture.
Yeah,
you're gonna kill yourself too.
You too.
Listen, you got flash heal also. You acupuncture, you flash heal, you acupuncture, you flash heal. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm still team Mage on this with the spell damage
or deadly poison.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like good enough weapons for that to work.
I mean, you use the rogue weapon, right? It's good enough.
I don't know. I feel like there's not a plethora of like weapon support right now.
Oh,
like
actually, well, Shaman, right? Because you have Lightning Bolt and Pop-Up Book.
Right, but again, not really spell damage.
You have Novice Zapper.
Yeah, if it made an additional Novice Zapper, then maybe, instead of just doubling its stats. But like Mage, the fact that like you play the spell once and you get +2 spell damage is pretty.
Yeah, but I guess the difference is it better to have +2 spell damage or 2 extra spells?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would lean towards the spell damage. Mage also has a lot of like discovers, right? So if you have like that Mage location with Hunter as the class, so you're discovering cheap Hunter spells, maybe you're more likely to hit, your Arcane Shot and your Wound Prey again.
Though, if you play Story of the Waygate...
Yep.
That could... And you get, like, Frostbolts, or you have some way to get 2-cost spells. Then, I mean, you have to have a way to do it. Maybe that's like a Ragnari Scout line, where you're getting the copies of whatever you're discovering and then discounting them.
Getting a little too in the weeds, but there's probably something there. And yeah, I'm sure there are way, way more things we could get into, but hopefully this gives you a good amount of stuff to contemplate in the week before it actually goes live. Week, half week, depending on when you listen. Yeah, if we had done this next week, it would be too late because the brawl would be gone by the time you heard it. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'm excited for this kind of deck building challenge, and also, I'm sure there'll be some immediate deck everyone decides that they're playing, but don't worry and persevere. And if this is overwhelming trying to build all these decks, like, also don't worry. in our Discord, on the internet, all kinds of places. People will be posting stuff, I'm sure. So even if it may not be nice with a deck code, we may feel like we're going back to 2014 and putting cards in manually. But if you're feeling a little intimidated by the deck building, you can still participate for sure.
Well, that's going to do it for today's show. We have many folks we'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at Concede.com. You can also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/Concede. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.concede.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@CoinConcede. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.concede.com and write into our email at coincede@gmail.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at CoinConcede. And if you'd like some CZ swag, head on over to our shop at shop.concede.com. Shout out to Tito Santana and NY Kiwi for subs during the show. And Coin Concedes.
Well, I will coin concede to my friend who just had a baby, like last Friday, and she is, besides Edel, the next of my friends to have a baby, and yeah, he's healthy, she's healthy, and it's very exciting. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to coin concede to my oldest daughter because so she's been coming with me to Commander on Sundays, and she was playing a new deck, and she finally like properly popped off to the point where she like it was turn 6 and she had to borrow my infinite tokens because dice were not sufficient to show the size of the creatures that she had on board. And I had to take a picture. She had, by like turn 6, she had like a 68-68, a 62-66, something else, and then like a 73-72 haste trample frog. And I'm like, okay, I guess you figured the deck out. So she's still newish to card games. I mean, she played a little bit of Hearthstone when she was a lot younger, but this is like really the first time she's really taking card games seriously, and she's finally like kind of clicking with her. So it's been pretty cool to watch. So,
well, I want to concede to both of you for holding down the fort last week. I think in addition to like wanting to spend some time with Rachel, because we don't hang out as much.
kids have that
anymore.
effect on you. Yeah.
It was honestly nice to get a week break. So
yeah.
And then come back sort of fresh and excited to do the show. So
yeah.
Oh gosh, what was the other thing I had? Concede to Daggerheart Critical Role. I don't know. Game is popping off. They've sold out like twice. Like they sold out, restocked it, sold out again, and I don't know if you're in the TTRPG space, you know it's been there's basically like not been a rival to D&D since when Pathfinder first came out, and I think Daggerheart popping off means that people will be motivated to try other systems. I'm hoping like people will try Daggerheart, maybe enjoy it, and then some of them anyway will say like, oh, trying other games is cool, and try other things. But yeah, there was like San Diego Comic-Con and Gen Con, so like they've had a lot of announcements recently, and yeah, wish them well. The new campaign does not have Matthew Mercer DMing, which is crazy. It's Brandon Lee Mulligan. Yeah, if you know, you know.
Not that he's a small name in that space either.
Oh, no.
To be fair, like I
don't
don't follow any of this stuff, and I don't follow any of this stuff, and I know who he is. So
he's gonna be DMing like 3 or GMing like 3 actual plays. Brennan, like seems like a lot, but yeah.
Well, that's gonna do it for us for this week. So until next time, keep calm and don't abuse the rogue stuff in the brawl too much. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
exhausted. I yield for now.
I concede. Well fought. I concede.
You win this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend. You win this time.
I choose death.